A lot of people ask me if the altcoin will soon outperform the Bitcoin because the Bitcoin grows significantly and maybe the altcoin, that some people say there will be no altcoin season this time. But I still believe that we have to take a look deeper and then probably we can gather data. Maybe altcoin will be the next star. So we're gonna talk about it. The special method that I'm using today is the RRG, and we'll explore with the founder of RRG, Julius. Hey everybody, welcome to Indonesia again.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
Long trip to
Yes.
from Netherlands, Indonesia.
Yeah.
Right? So today we're gonna talk about the crypto. I'm not gonna ask you to talk about Indonesian stocks anymore because a lot of people come to Astrology and they want to know if the alt season will come soon. Because
Right.
I made a great prediction that the Bitcoin will hit 125. Now, in the fact, the all-time high is 123. And I still have like 156,000 as the next target. And people want to know because some of them, majority, they hold the altcoin and they want to know if it's still worth it to hold altcoin or I have to switch right away to Bitcoin. Then technical analysis may work, but I really interesting to see if we can use some kind of sector rotation that you normally do with the RRG indicators.
Yes.
But we're gonna use Bitcoin to US dollar and then altcoin to US dollar and use your RRG concept to give some information if all Indonesian traders, all Asia traders should pay attention to altcoin. Let's explore it, brother.
Yes. So here's an RRG, and let me do a quick introduction on what RRG is and how it works, because otherwise it will be hard to understand. RRG is a graphical format that shows users the relative rotation of securities, in this case cryptos, against a common benchmark and against each other. Now, against each other, that's the other Bitcoins. And the benchmark here, for the first time, is we use the US dollar, because in essence, any crypto is a relative pair already.
Okay.
You know, what is the price of Bitcoin? Well, there's
Have price if you don't compare it to something.
There's a price of Bitcoin in US dollar, there's a price of Bitcoin in yen, there's a price of Bitcoin in pounds. So there's no price of Bitcoin. So this is now all based to the US dollar. So the chart, the center of the chart here is the US dollar.
Okay.
So you see the rotation around the US dollar. And we can actually, you know, we could scroll that to history and you can see how that moves over time. So you see that rotational pattern taking place over time. It's just like in the stock market with sectors or individual stocks.
Nice.
Cryptos does exactly the same. Now, this is updated to right now. And if we find Bitcoin, we can see that it is inside the leading quadrant. Now, what does that mean? The basic inputs for an RRG are on the horizontal scale, the JDK-RS ratio, that is a metric of relative trend. And on the vertical axis, we have the JDK-RS momentum. That is the relative momentum of that trend. Now, why are these two important? First of all, the relative trend tells us if something is doing better than something else, which is nice if you want to beat Bitcoin or if you're a stock investor and you want to beat the GCI with sector plays. But the second thing is the momentum part of it. Because momentum is rate of change, and rate of change is a leading indicator. It leads the trend change. You know, the best way to explain momentum is if I throw a ball up in the air. In the beginning, it's got a lot of speed, a lot of momentum, it moves up, and it goes higher, and then you lose pace, but you still go up, just not at that much space. And then there is one small moment where the ball is still, and then it starts to pick up pace to the downside, at first a little bit, and then it goes faster and faster and faster. And that is momentum. So before the turn, where the ball is still, you slow down in momentum and you pick up in momentum. And that's what you see on an RRG too. So here you got high momentum, and then you lose momentum, starts to decline. And then when the momentum becomes negative, you go into the lagging quadrant. Wow. And that's where you have a relative downtrend pushed down by negative momentum. So then you go down really fast. And then the first thing that happens is momentum starts to pick up, and then it starts to move upward, and then it pushes it into the improving quadrant, where the trend is still down, but momentum is working its way up. And then when that continues, it pushes us into the leading quadrant, and then you have a full rotation. You're a pilot.
Yeah.
You can imagine, you take off, rotate, you got a little bit of momentum, you rotate more, you got more momentum, you go up.
Right.
And then you come at cruising altitude, and then you have zero momentum because you've got a level flight. And then you cruise. And then when you land, you try slowly down, but if you crash, your momentum goes really fast, so your turn goes really fast. And that's what you will visualize on an RRG.
Oh yeah.
You know, so so back to the current situation in crypto. So as I said, here is Bitcoin. It's this green tail here, inside leading, starting to roll over. So it's definitely still leading, but when I look at this at the bigger picture, all of these tails are pointing to that northeastern quadrant. And that's good. We call that a positive heading, like a compass, a ship, a plane. A compass, 0 to 360.
Yeah.
Everything between 0 and 90 is good.
Okay.
Because it means that we are gaining on both axes.
So that's directions between 0 to 90.
Yeah,
right?
so that's where we measure it from the previous node to the last. So you imagine your compass, the center of your compass is right here. You go around it. So this is exactly between 0 and 90.
Okay.
And if I hover over it, we can see that the heading is 59.48 degrees on this one. So between 0 and 90 is good because you're gaining on both axes. And that is happening with the majority of those tails. So the crypto market as a whole is doing really well. And Bitcoin is still the leading factor. But the cool thing happens when we start to compare all those altcoins to Bitcoin.
Okay.
Because then we can see within the crypto universe what is doing better or worse
compared to the Bitcoin.
To
Bitcoin.
And if we do that, you get this picture here. It's still quite the same. You still see that positive node, but you can see that it's all a little bit more shifted to the left because Bitcoin is still leading. But if I look at this picture, if you look at this picture, what do you think? Where are all these tails heading? What is the...
Looking to the direction, it should be to the right, and Ethereum will be next, I believe.
Looks like it. So these rotations are always clockwise. Sometimes there is a little hook in it, like you saw here in Tom, it's like a little hook. But in general, the rotations are quite shallow and they rotate nicely. So you're right. Ethereum looks to be the next one to take over Bitcoin.
What is the difference if they make a turn way to the left compared to make a turn like slightly inside of the cross?
So as I said, the rotations are clockwise. What do you mean by making...
Like this guy here, XRP, right?
Yeah.
XRP make the turn like close to...
Yes, okay.
This one is...
All right, yeah, I got it. This is stronger than that.
Okay.
Because everything is relative, and this is a metric that you can use. So as a matter of fact, XMR is actually, if you just use the relative metric, XMR is stronger than TRX, is stronger than Bitcoin, is way stronger than HTR, for example.
But now it's...
But it's coming down. So, and then that comes where, how do you want to play it? What do you want to play? If you're very conservative, you're going to wait until it crosses over, but then you're very late. What I like to look at is the heading that we discussed. So this has a negative heading because this is between 180 and 270. Yeah. So for me, a trade that I would look at is go long uni against XMR.
Oh.
Because then I have, the one is moving up, the other one's moving down. So it's a very aggressive trade. But so Bitcoin is only your benchmark to find that trade.
Yeah.
You can also just short XMR versus Bitcoin or go long uni against Bitcoin. But if you do uni against XMR, you're way more aggressive because you're playing two sides.
Head to head, yeah.
Exactly. So the bigger picture here is that I think that what we have at our hands is that all these altcoins are picking up against Bitcoin. So they are starting to overtake the move of Bitcoin. And this is a weekly chart. So this is quite a longer term trend. So these I usually use as a rule of thumb that trends that emerge on a weekly RRG should last at least 3 months, but often longer.
Okay.
So, you know, you don't have to do this tomorrow.
So it means that if they stay in leading, that should be minimum 3 months.
Yeah, on the right-hand side, yeah,
Okay.
roughly.
Yeah. And
But-
also,
but-
if they are stay here, how about that?
yeah, same story. But it can be much longer than 3 months.
Okay.
Like 3 months is kind of the minimum.
Oh wow.
You know, so it can be quite long. By the way, that comes from my experience in the stock market with sectors. So maybe crypto is a little different, but you know, it's not a one-trick pony. It's not a one-day fly. Or to say that,
Yeah.
like you know, it's not something that happens overnight and then disappears. This is
So what is the best time frame we use? Like a weekly chart or daily?
depends on your horizon as an investor.
Let's take like, how about the view in the daily chart here?
Yeah, we can change that to daily. Now we got way more granular, and you can see the strength of all these altcoins picking up.
So that's way more than this guys is way more than the Bitcoin.
Yes, but on the daily time frame. So they need to continue to overtake it on the weekly, because this is only on the daily time frame. But you can see, by the way, this is just confirming the strength on the weekly. You know, you see all that strength on the daily. That's why they are pulling those weekly tails up.
Yeah.
And imagine if we just let's do a little bit of fantasizing here. So here's Ripple or XLM, for example. They're really strong right now. You know, so they push and they push and they push on the daily. But then they will roll over briefly. Remember what I told you? Very reliable rotations when you go from leading to weakening back to leading. Imagine one of these or all of those rotating out and coming back up.
Oh, they can do it. They don't have to go to the...
No. It's if a rotation from leading to weakening back into leading is actually super strong.
Oh.
Because when you move from improving to leading, you are trading the change of trend from a downtrend to an uptrend relative. Uptrends are never a straight line.
Yeah.
They zigzag.
Yeah, exactly.
Higher highs, higher lows. It's an uptrend, right? So what that translates to on an RRG is you go from leading, you go to weakening, and you go back
That's
up.
your secondary reaction.
Exactly.
Again.
So when you see that turn into 0 to 90 degrees happening inside the weakening quadrant, you're actually seeing the start of a new up leg in an already established relative uptrend. So that's a lot less risk because you're embarking on an already, you know, trend that's already underway instead of trading the change. You know, somebody explained to me, if you're waiting on a train station and you want to go, I don't know, let me try to get some Indonesian perspective here. If you're in Jakarta, and what is where does the train come from?
From Jakarta. Yeah.
You know, where does it start?
From the center of Jakarta.
Okay, so what's in between Jakarta and Surabaya?
Semarang.
Okay, so I'm in Samara.
Okay.
Do I take a train that's going from Surabaya to Jakarta to go to Surabaya?
No.
Or do I wait for the train from Jakarta to pass Surabaya?
To pass Semarang and go to Surabaya.
Surabaya.
Yeah, maybe the second one.
Exactly, because it's already underway.
Yeah.
Because you wanna embark on that journey that's already underway.
Yeah.
That's way more reliable than picking the train and hoping that it will return in Jakarta and go all the way back.
Okay.
And that's what you're seeing when you move from leading to weakening and back to leading again.
So you have to wait until it's back to leading.
You don't have to, no, you can do that, but that's just a more reliable trade.
Okay.
You know, so depends on, again, if you embarked on this trade and you can wait until it turns into a negative heading and then you say, all right, that's enough, that's my trade.
Okay.
You're probably a shorter term trader.
Yeah.
If you are a longer term trader and you trade on that weekly RRG and you see this rotating there and it moves up, you just got more confirmation that that weekly tail continues to move higher.
It's like a stochastic in 15 minutes compared to...
Yeah.
a 4 hour?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Because it's going like this and then yeah.
MACD, RSI, it's all fractal, I guess. You know, it's like
It's a fractal.
we've got the same pattern in a different time frame.
Yes.
You know, you saw the weekly RRG, which shows you, you know, the long rotations. Let's pick up. Why don't we do that? Let's do, for example, Ripple. Ripple is taking off right now, so Ripple is doing really well. So here is Ripple on the weekly.
Compared to Bitcoin, right?
To Bitcoin, yes. Now we change that to daily. And you see it right here.
So as long as it stay here, and then the weekly will go
We'll
up.
continue to cool up, yeah, because we can actually, the weekly tail is, whoops, I need to do that here. So, where's my tail? It's 5 weeks.
Okay.
Now we're gonna do a daily, and we're gonna set that to 25 days. Day length, 25. This,
That's a trend of 25 days.
25 days tail, this is what you see on the weekly. This whole 25 days is the exact same move as the 5 on the weekly.
Yes.
And if we do that on the weekly now, it will also show 25. But if you, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can see this turn is caused by the strength on the daily. So that daily is actually pulling that weekly turn around. And you need that. I mean, think in terms of a daily and a weekly candle.
Yes.
You know, the weekly candle goes down, but you see the daily candles start to pop up first before it will, and you will have quite a few weekly candles before that weekly actually starts. It's exactly the same here.
Okay, wow. In this case, if you back to US dollar comparison.
That's this one here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is weekly, right?
This is weekly.
Okay.
Can you do daily?
Yeah, maybe let's see daily. What happened here?
Same story.
Everybody
A lot of strength. A lot of strength.
Compared to the Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, this is against US dollar, but it's the same image. You see a lot of strength.
Because the Bitcoin is only here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? And then the other one
The others are already overtaking. Yeah.
overtaking by tracks.
So here's Bitcoin starting to lose a little bit of momentum.
So is that a bad sign or?
That's not yet a bad sign. I think it's bad when it turns into that 90 to 180 to
So it's going that way.
when it's going.
Even though that's on the.
Even though it's sort of an I would it's not a short. It's like a get out because we're losing momentum.
Okay.
And then you can get back in when it rotates back into that positive heading, or when it crosses over into.
So if they are, let's say the Bitcoin comes to the weakening part, but the heading is go to the 0 and 90, is that?
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah, if that happens, if you see Bitcoin going into weakening, and then making it clockwise and go back to.
Even though they are not back to the green area.
Oh yeah, it's because everything on the right-hand side is a relative uptrend.
Okay.
It's still out.
But how if they're on the left-hand side, but they're making like the heading like 45?
That's interesting, but you're going counter trend. It's more aggressive.
Oh.
You're very aggressive.
Got it now. So
because you can also have the same as what we discussed, weakening, leading, weakening, leading.
Yeah.
You can have improving, lagging, improving.
Okay.
So improving and then back to lagging, which is
it's just
second
technical
leg.
rebound and that.
Exactly, the second leg of a downtrend.
So in this case, let's back to weekly. In this case, we cannot use the daily because that's too short, I believe, if you want to see like the big picture.
The big picture, I would use the weekly, yes.
In this case, we know that all the altcoins will get ready to take over to the leading, which is come to the bullish trend.
Yes.
And whether it's strong or not is depend on this side, right?
Yes. And what you also need to pay attention to, because you see that there's a few like Sol has already turned around and ARK has turned around.
So it's probably not good.
That is, so if I had to choose, for example, between Sol and Uni, Uni is the one.
When will be the next dot? It's like 5 weeks from now? Or?
No, every week. So every dot is 1 week. Every dot's 1 week, and on a daily, it's every dot is a day. And you can actually run this also on intraday data if you have it.
So now if you see ETH is around 104,
Yeah,
and where's the Bitcoin? Is behind it, right?
it's behind it. Yes, yes.
So it means that now the Ethereum is starting picking up the momentum way more than Bitcoin compared to the US dollar.
Yes,
And then how the Ethereum looks like in a normal chart in this case then?
a price chart.
Yeah, can we take a look at the price chart? Then we want to see if the Ethereum is go to the area with the heading of 090, I guess.
So here's a price
Just
chart.
looks like.
Yeah. So if we do the weekly, then we have the good comparison.
Okay.
You can see how rapidly I as a, you know, I'm not an astrologer, but I look at just price levels. This 4,080.
That's a minimum. Maybe.
If that, yeah, but if that breaks, if that goes,
Uh-huh.
then it's, you know, to the moon, at least to
48.
49, 48.90, so 4,900. That's, you know, this one is the first level to watch, and this one is that. And if this breaks, then for sure, Ethereum will be way into the leading quadrant.
So basically with the RRG, I don't really need to see this chart first. I will do the first scanning with the RRG.
Yes,
Right.
that is, the RRG will help you to zoom in on what's important. It all started with stocks and stock markets and sectors. Like which sector do you want to concentrate on, and then you look into which individual stocks.
Let's open the RRG with the US dollar again, the crypto to US dollar. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if we see this, it means you say that the minimums will stay there for 3 months.
Roughly.
So let's assume in the next 3 months, we believe that as long the heading is not getting more
super negative.
to
Yeah.
090,
Yeah.
then the Ethereum chart, the price chart will most likely break that 4,800 within 3 months.
Yes, that's a safe assumption.
That's unbelievable. That's a great scanning, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, and then the next will be Uni.
I think Uni is doing pretty well.
Dodge.
Dodge, yeah, if it keeps its momentum. Here, XLM, all that stuff.
Yeah,
What these,
LTC.
you know, 45 degrees is ideal.
Okay.
You know, then you got the same
Or
speed.
maybe
but-
this one, the Ripple.
Oh, Ripple. I
Because Ripple is very confident, like 35 degrees.
oh yeah, this is 38.
Yeah.
38 degrees.
Close it up.
Yeah.
So can you open the Ripple? Wow, this is amazing, guys. We can see the big picture of the rotation, and now we can conclude that.
I have to
altcoin.
I have to admit I own Ripple.
Okay.
And I love Ripple, and this is my second run in Ripple. The first one was this one here. Do you have time for a story?
Yep.
This is so funny. Okay, so 2017 I started. Somebody told me you need to go trade in crypto. I go, what is that? You know, yeah, so I mean, I'm 61 years old, you know, so I was like, what's that? That's all new. But I'll try. And I look at it, it's like, oh, it's a chart, it's price, supply and demand, it kind of works, you know? So I opened an account, put some money in it, started trading, and I owned Ripple right here. And I went there, I was like, whoa, that's fantastic. And then obviously here I was like, oh shit, not so good. And then I sort of held that, I kept that account, and then, you know, I write blogs for stock charts. And somewhere in, I think it was somewhere here in, I don't even know where, 2019 or so, I wrote a blog article. And the title was, this thing has 70% upside potential.
Okay.
And it was Ripple breaking out of a range with a very high price target. And I still had that crypto account, which I dodged because like, oh, it's not working because you know. So there was, I don't know, $2,000 in there or something. You know what, I'm gonna do something really irresponsible. I'm just gonna whack 2K into Ripple and just forget about it, you know. So I did that, and then boom, this happened, and then I took this ride all the way there on. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna make the same mistake as here. So I sold out roughly somewhere here, made a bit of money, and I was like, oh, I got the hang of it, so I know how this works now. And then I looked at a chart of Cardano, or ADA, and at that time, this must have been, yeah, it must have been here, 2021. Let's bring up ADA in the same period. Oh yeah, here. So here in 2021, I looked at it and I whacked all the money from Ripple, which was at that time, I don't know, like 12,000, it went from 2 to 12. whacked it all in ADA. Like, and then it came to here. I was like, damn, that's great. So I sold that because we just moved to a farm, and I needed machinery. And
Then you get money from the cryptos.
And I bought my wheel loader with money from crypto. There's even a better story. Back in, I think it's 2015, as a UK fund manager, Charlie Morris, great guy. He left his job at HSBC as fund manager, start a crypto research firm. He said, Julius, you need to invest in crypto. You need to invest in crypto. I said, what's that? How does that work? So he grabbed my phone and he said, open a wallet. And so I did. So I opened a wallet and he transferred £5 to my wallet. And I still, to date, have that wallet with that, I didn't touch it, £5 British.
$1,000 now? Oh my God.
It's down now, it was 1,200.
Okay.
So it's 1,200, you see it. So £5, I got to love it. I became to love crypto. I'm still not sure whether it makes total sense.
But at least it's make money.
It makes money, and it's for technical analysts, it's a great market because it's purely driven by supply and demand.
Yeah.
You know, so that's fantastic for us. So yeah.
So in this case, you know that the ripples.
Yeah.
Can we go to ripples together? So Ripple will be the next assets that will go to the green area.
I think that those also, because it's already breaking out, so the momentum's already there. So if you look at Ripple,
But Ripple in this case is here is just maybe 2 weeks from now is gonna make.
very likely this is going to accelerate very rapidly.
Now, if we know this and we predict we're gonna stay over here and probably for the next 5 months, how are you gonna enter to the normal price chart?
Well, this is where your stuff comes.
Yeah, I know. Like
Because you know, so RRG will tell you like, so here the odds are getting in your favor. So now you've got to bring it, and I always tell people, you know, there's no right or wrong, there's no hard trading rules on an RRG, but it will help you to zoom in on stuff that's potentially interesting. And then I say people use an RRG to pinpoint Ripple, Uni, Ether.
Understood.
And then you take a chart and you do, if you're an Elliott wave analyst, you do your Elliott wave count. If you're a pattern recognition guy, you just find a pattern.
Now the biggest $1 million question is, how if the Ripple is around here, the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Compared to Uni, you got a what do you call this? Under
Momentum,
yeah.
relative
You
momentum.
got a lower momentum between Uni and Ripple. But how do we know if the Ripple is done here? How many percent? What is the beta from this position to the real chart? It's like if they are heading like 45 or compared to heading 90, how many percent the potential is gonna go higher? Or maybe if the Ripple is here compared to Ripple is here, how many percent that will affect the real chart of the price appreciation?
The percentage performance or the...
So let's say we back to Ripple. So let's say the Ripple is here, is facing to 38 degrees. How do we know from this support, how do we know the price target is like how far it's gonna go up?
There's no real target. I would calculate my targets based on the chart.
Technical analysis.
Yeah, based on technical analysis.
So the momentum and the direction of the heading will not affect the percentage of the performance, correct?
It will probably affect it, but I don't know how much. What I can tell you is that one of the things that I really look at and is interesting is the length of the tail, because here, these are all 2, 8. So these are 8 periods.
8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Okay.
8 weeks. But you can see that, you know, the uni tail is much longer than the TRX tail. You can see here, these nodes are really close together. And here it starts to speed up. So we call this RRG velocity. It's the speed. So this is kind of the speed, the momentum of that move, the power behind that move. If the stretches are long between the nodes, there's a lot of power behind it.
Oh, okay. So the distance between the node is the power.
It's this power, it's the speed of the move.
Regardless what's the direction of the heading.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we can conclude that the altcoin will soon take a part to the game. How many months you think from today? So let's assume today is July 2026.
Like 1 month, 6 weeks. This is, if I just do some eyeballing here, so uni is, these are really long stretches. You see how far these are apart?
Yep.
That can be 2-3 weeks. If you go to, so here's ADA, here's Litecoin. These are, so this could be maybe they need a little bit longer. For the group as a whole, I think that, okay, let me make a statement here. Within the next 2 months, these altcoins will take over Bitcoin.
Wow, let's prove it. Now is July 2025 and since September. And if the altcoin take over, what do you think the Bitcoin will be based on this trend? Can we make like a future prediction on this?
For the price of Bitcoin?
Yeah.
No, because it's all relative to Bitcoin. So the only thing...
This one is relative to USD.
Sorry, relative to the USD. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think Bitcoin will be much lower. It will all crash.
That means it's going to be here and maybe turn here like that.
Yeah, could be. It could be, you know, Bitcoin, these are price trends. So Bitcoin can stay on the right-hand side, meaning in an uptrend, but at much less momentum, at much less power. And then the altcoins will take over with more power. But Bitcoin will still stay in its uptrend or flat. If you know, if Bitcoin moves to 100 on the momentum scale, it basically means you're in an uptrend, but you're not accelerating any. You're cruising altitude.
Yeah.
You know, you're just.
But you're not gonna change the trend.
You're not gonna change the trend. Exactly.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, now, how if all the viewers want to have this RRG? Do you have the subscription that we can do together, and probably they can contact Astronaci and then get the RRG?
We'll work it out. We have the relativerotationgraphs.com website.
Okay.
Is relatively new, so it's still a little bit itchy here and there. But we have a what we call RRG Online, which is a very limited implementation of RRG because we prefer to partner with software like Optima and Bloomberg and a few more. So RRG Online is our limited implementation, but we do have crypto, a group of crypto versus Bitcoin and a group of crypto versus the dollar, both on the daily and the weekly time frame. So what we just discussed, you can see there.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure that we will update the crypto instruments to make sure that it is like, I don't know, the top 25 or the top 50 of cryptos that are worth trading. And for Indonesian people, we also have the LQ45 stocks on there against the GCI.
So you guys got a lower rate when you use the Astronaci coupon, and then we will do some more webinars and some trainings maybe in the future if we can see that the altcoin gonna works well and the September's everything run like what you say, right?
Yeah.
We will make some great workshop for crypto, I believe. You will do the scanning with RRG, and then I'm doing the momentum or price action trading with the astrology with my method. Then we can combine it.
Yeah.
So
Sounds good.
at the end, as the summary, we believe that the altcoin will come and we will stand by for the Ethereum, Ripples, and what else do you think? The Uni?
Uni looks good. ADA, Cardano, Litecoin is in good. Link, Algo, XLM.
Nice.
These are all really good looking.
So this already answers people questions about the altcoin, because they always worry, is there any altcoin season or something like that? But RRG is showing that, wow.
Looks like it's coming.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming in 2 months or September 2025. Okay, well, at the end of the story, I have something for you. So hopefully you remember this. Another batik. Filigree.
Of course, of course.
So Indonesia heritage.
When we do a webinar,
Yeah.
I will wear this.
Great. Okay. All right, Julius, thank you so much for the insight.
Thank you, man.
I'll make sure that Indonesia crypto traders, they will try to use RRG, and then we'll get benefit from it.
Let's get more Indonesian eyeballs on RRG.
Great. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you.